Back to a new episode. Today, I decided to talk about Bitcoin because I was looking around the charts and this formation that you can appreciate here. How this double top uh, in a bigger, broader section. You can see how we resemble this view of the market, and I want to analyze how this um, movement tends to catch people because after a first move to the upside from this section going back to 2024, the actual bull market we had so far in this cycle, you can see how we elevate our prices in a dramatic way, uh, pretty much all the 2024, and we chop around for this 2025. And if you can tend to catch the sentiment, how we go to the upside and try to play in a conservative way and try to expect lower prices after this second bottom, it sounds smart and to be cautious and try to play it and take some profit maybe in this area, or even if you grab something in this section. And you might be thinking that it's smart to take it also in this place because we have a downside formation. And as you can see, the first indicator that we can see here is the EMA ribbon band where it's being tested, and we are trying to flip it around to the bullish side. uh, we have pretty much since the bottom on the 23 of November, and we are trying to formate a ascending formation, and it looks like a bearish formation, right? And if we start to analyze first one in that section, and we try to now watch it in this section, when you have a up formation down of the ribbon and you are consolidating all the metrics, all the bands of the metric, it it looks like it will be easy to go lower. But after you cross the ribbon band and you are flipping, actually we have the first test back in 9 of January, and then we have another test to the upside. So that's the first indicator of bullish momentum tendency to develop. And that's like a more local area that we can analyze. But now I want to try to go into the broader spectrum in the yearly development of the market movement. And if we go to the weekly chart, and we we saw this complete movement all the way back into the 2023, when we start to see higher prices and higher movements, and pretty much everything was uh, consolidating and moving into the upside. You can see how we have this clearly path into the upside, this first leg into the upside. Then after this, we can resemble more of like a Wyckoff accumulation that we were talking about in the previous cycle, and how this market tend to grab into liquidity, and it play out actually in the past cycle. But if we start to analyze more deeply into the previous startup of the cycle, we can see the same development of a small Wyckoff accumulation in this area. Then we return into the low area, like in this section. Then we have a start up of the test of the lower area of the Wyckoff. Then we develop into the downside. Then we start the escape from this section like a big U formation or an S, if you want to see it that way. And if we look for this S in here, you can see how we are making that move to escape from this area. So first we tested the down part of the Wyckoff accumulation here in this section. After we tested, then we developed the breakout into the upside. Now, if we divide the ball run section into two areas, we have the first section, then we have this section, then we have this accumulation area, if you can see it here. Okay, it is important, this one, because this actually played out really fast in the previous bull market. But actually the sentiment in a lot of YouTube channels was that we have this breakout. We were looking at $20,000, a thing that we pretty much never saw since the last 2017 bull market. And a lot of people were expecting that we need a cool off, because in the previous markets, like in here, the $1,200, we have a really hard pullback. So a lot of people exited the market in this area. Actually, I was also trying to look for an exit point and try to grab it maybe down into the $10,000 area, because we were chopping around in the previous section. When you have anything above or near $10,000, it was a good place to just re-enter the market later, because you were pretty much guaranteed to have an entry point later in this area. You have a lot of places you can enter the market below $10,000. So in this section, actually was making a lot of sense trying to just collect some of the profits and just try to catch up in a later moment. But what happened? Actually, the market never give you that chance. They just consolidate into the upside and start a really aggressive move into the upside. And you're watching now the logarithmic chart, but if we go to the normal chart, you can see that the actual profit section of the bull market was this area. It was more aggressive. We have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bull candles, and here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 just. Then we have a blow off, then we rally up again, but it was playing more aggressively and rapidly into the upside. And actually in this area we don't have a lot of greed momentum. Actually we have more like a caution area, because the $20,000 area was really strong, was a really strong place to be, and it was hard. But what happened after this, the real volume started to kick in, and pretty much everybody FOMO into the market, because everybody was looking how pretty much any formation that in the lower section were make, they were breaking into the upside really hard. So you have a lot of leverage movement, also a lot of other altcoins trying to rally up as well. And if you go into the altcoins section, actually none of the broader market participants were rallying this hard until this area. So why is similar to this? Well, first of all, we have two double downs in this area, and it was after run up into the higher part of this Wyckoff, just like this one, and we have the double bottoms in here. And pretty much right now everybody wants to just sell some for later and just go grab a later lower price. Might be thinking about $50,000 or 60 or something. But the thing is like, how fast can the market sentiment can change if we break again uh, really hard into the 120 area? If we manage to break the ceiling and reestablish a new uh, bicycle theory that starts to play out again, this is going to gain a lot of attraction into the market and also into other participants. Altcoins can start to push up again the Bitcoin price also because they are really more gaining susceptible. So that will bring a lot of new faces again into the market. For me, what this needs to play out is like this pi cycle fill the gap. It needs to break the 200,000 price mark in the next couple of weeks. In at least by February, it needs to get all the way into the 200,000 for this to play out, because at the end of this year we need to have a pullback. We need it. We need to have some type of pullback. So we might have a smaller run up, just trying to chop around this section again, and then maybe go to the downside. But for me, what needs to play out is the pi cycle top. This one needs to go really fast into the $200,000, then start to build up in the higher sections so it can actually pull the orange line into the cross into the green one. And this sentiment will be equivalent as this play out, because this section was more aggressive in the growth area. And if we take the duration of the actual bull market, you can see how we can start around this area when actually we broke the lower part of the Wyckoff all the way into the actual growth, 64 bars. And if we manage to shorten the length of the market, let's say 50 bars, just a little bit under this section, to gain all the way to this area, this first peak. If we take the middle of this section and we count 50 bars, we are expecting something around November. For me, it can play out really more quickly because we have a lot of momentum that can be built in the really short term. If this theory starts to play out, the pi cycle that is still working. So yeah, I mean, I think there is a chance, because at the end, how these markets play out, it needs to scare everybody away. And if you think about it, if people starts to realize that the market is not working anymore as it used to, they're just gonna start to pull more money into it, because they just don't know where it's gonna be stopping at the first glitch, right? So yeah, we are not we're not sure, but I think that it's not over. And also, it's not common to see like I don't know if you want to check out like Zcash. It's not normal that things start to pop out really hard and remain there in that in the at the end of the bull market, because if you go back into the 2020, if you see how it exit actually, it just consolidated for a couple days in this section, then they start, and when the actual market top off in April, it really dropped hard into the downside, even more than Bitcoin was initially, right? And at the end, it was pretty much hard net. So, so yeah, I mean, you can still make a theory or a case for this area.